Right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So it seems Alastair Campbell, who was kicked out of the Labour Party, has appeared on the breakfast show this morning, calling out the Labour Party activists who attack people who disagree with Corbyn and Corbyn's inability to lead the Labour Party and win a general election, along with the usual Ramoning that Labour MPs and Labour Party members do. So let's check it out.
Helping shape New Labour's policy and influencing the media coverage under Tony Blair, says he no longer wants to be a member of the party.
Alastair Campbell was expelled from Labour in May after he admitted to voting for the Liberal Democrats in the European elections. He's now written to Jeremy Corbyn saying he no longer intends to fight to be readmitted because the party no longer represents his values. Let's find out from the man himself and speak to Alastair Campbell. Very good morning to you. It's probably worth just reminding those who haven't followed every step of this process. You voted and you said openly that you voted for Liberal Democrats in the European elections. What happened next?
What happened was that I was notified by the Labour Party that I had auto-excluded myself, which meant that in publicly admitting voting for another party, they said that was, again, in breach of party rules. Since then, I've tried to find out the process under which that decision was made and also the review that was announced into it by Shami Chakrabarti and by the Labour Party press office the next day. And weeks and weeks and weeks into that, getting nowhere, I hired a legal team who prepared a case that both they and the Labour Party lawyers, I think, agreed was likely to win, both on the grounds of the misapplication of the rule and also discrimination, because I was the only one expelled for doing what lots of other people have done. If you still got the will to live on this one, then I got getting nowhere. I told the party I was planning to issue proceedings, and then they approached me and gave me a couple of ways out that they felt would get me back into the party without embarrassing them too much. And it's while I've been thinking about that I've reached the conclusion that I'm afraid I've hit the end of the road with the Labour Party.
So what are you seeing that means you can no longer be a member of the Labour Party? What is it that you see?
Well, I mean, I've been Labour supporter since the days of Harold Wilson, and I can't quite believe that I've given up on it. But basically, a year ago, my partner Fiona left the party, and she cited three reasons. She wrote a piece. She cited three reasons. One was the failure to lead on Brexit. One was the failure to tackle the hideous anti-Semitism. And the third was the lack of a genuinely modern, radical, forward-looking policy agenda. And I think it's fair to say I've been hoping against hope that there'd be improvement across all fronts. I think on Brexit, they have got to a better position, but it's still, to my mind, not good enough, and Jeremy Corbyn has to be dragged kicking and screaming every step of the way. And I think on the other two, frankly, they've gone backwards. And I think I've just come back from Australia, and it was partly being there that crystallised my thinking. They've just had an election. The Labour Party, whose ratings were way better than Labour's are at the moment, the leader, Bill Shorten, ratings way better than Jeremy Corbyn's. But I knew from the times I'd been to Australia before that the public had decided well in advance they were not going to make Bill Shorten Prime Minister. And I'm afraid I think they've done the same with Jeremy Corbyn. And that means a moment of national peril with this new, very right-wing, populist, hard Brexit government. Unless I think there is some major change, then I really, really fear for what's going to happen to the country under Boris Johnson.
Well, Jeremy Corbyn has, as you very well know, a strong and very dedicated following within Labour Party membership. So, I mean, there comes a point where you have to say, what's it got to do with you?
Well, people are entitled to say what they like. And I think one of the problems with our politics inside the Labour Party and outside the party, and I've seen it overnight with I said in the piece, which is the full text is on the new European website if people want to plough through the whole thing. But I say there that I think one of the problems is that they have these outriders and sock puppets who will go out, abuse anybody who doesn't agree with everything Jeremy Corbyn says or does. And I just think, look, all my life, whether as a journalist or working in the Labour Party and the Labour government, I've always believed in speaking truth unto power. I spoke truth to power when it was Tony Blair, when it was Gordon Brown, and I think I speak truth to power with Boris Johnson. He has no mandate for no-deal Brexit, and I speak truth to power to Jeremy Corbyn. He has to ask himself, is he capable of doing the job and rising to the challenge that now presents himself? And just look at what's happened in the last few days. Where is the strategy? It's not as if we didn't know Boris Johnson was going to be Prime Minister. Where is the strategy? And I've just reached the point of deciding in myself, and it's a very personal decision. This is not about some plot or some other party, none of that. It's a personal decision. I no longer feel that this is the Labour Party that I've been dedicated to all my life. It's not the party of Clement Attlee. It's not the party of Tony Blair or Gordon Brown. It's not the party of Harold Wilson and all the leaders that we've had down the years.
So help us with the if you had a vision for the future of the Labour Party, which I accept you're stepping aside from that, but is there someone other than Jeremy Corbyn? I mean, can you name names for the person who you think could lead the party to what you think would be success?
Well, look, I acknowledge in the letter that Jeremy Corbyn has done some things very, very well. He campaigned well in the last election. He did a lot better than people expected. But you know, it's got to be more than that.
So who are these people? I mean, give us. Is there a list of names you can put out there that would be the ones who would make you feel differently? Yeah,
there are, and I'm not going to name names.
Why not?
Because I just don't think. Because I don't think it's very helpful, and there are not least to them. I mean,
But you could say what you're doing is not very. I mean, it's interesting you say that's not very helpful, given that you're saying what you've said about the party.
Okay, it's not designed. It's not about being helpful. It's about telling the truth about what I feel about what's happening in politics at a moment of real danger for the country. And I think all of us who have a platform, who can come on programmes like yours, and I've thought about this for weeks and months. I've thought about it really, really deeply. I've talked to a few close friends. Some of them think I'm doing the wrong thing. Some of them think I'm doing the right thing. It's a personal decision. I don't think it's helpful for me suddenly to say I think X person could do it better than Jeremy Corbyn. But I've got to be honest, I think there are several people who would pursue a different politics, who would give genuine leadership to the country at the time when the country is crying out for it. And I just think that he's reached the point where he's not capable of it. And we have to be honest about that. And I think that the Labour Party is, the Labour Party is nothing if it's not a party of government. And if I think back to when we were in opposition in the mid-90s, and people just have to remember, it is not easy. It is really, really hard work. I do not see that work being done. I don't see the policy agenda. I don't see the leadership on Brexit. And so I just think that instead of pretending, and listen, I say in the letter, it's much harder for MPs and candidates than it is for me. I'm outside anyway. I'm not in Parliament. I'm not a candidate. It's very hard for those people. But they know the vast bulk of MPs, they agree with my analysis. They may not agree with my conclusion, but they agree with my analysis. And if we just carry on sleepwalking, we are going to help the most right-wing, ill-qualified, ill-intentioned Prime Minister that this country has ever had to inflict a massive, massive act of self-harm, a no-deal Brexit, for which Johnson knows if there was a referendum tomorrow, no deal against no Brexit wins by a mile. He daren't do that. So what he's relying on is Jeremy Corbyn staying because he thinks...
Well, I tell you what, Alastair, we will have to leave it there. I appreciate your views this morning. Thank you very much. Interesting talking to you.
So there it is, guys. Labour members are all attacking each other now. You got the party activists attacking ex-members and current members if they disagree with Corbyn. Of course, he moans about Boris, he's far right and all this nonsense, but what more can you expect? So, when he's not attacking Boris Johnson, he seems to think that if there was another referendum, no deal or no Brexit, the outcome would be a no Brexit vote. I don't fucking think so, mate. There's no call for that. If there was another referendum, people would vote to leave because most people in the UK believe in democracy. You don't, but most people do. That's probably why you were a member of the Labour Party and why you voted for the Lib Dems. You got Jo Swinson, who says even if another referendum said to leave, she wouldn't honour it and would keep going on moaning about it. Seems a bit like Nicola Sturgeon of the SNP, who even though the 2014 independence referendum was lost by the SNP in favour of staying in the Union, she still doesn't believe that result. And then come the 2016 referendum, she still doesn't believe that result because it went the opposite way and remained lost. So, Labour Party, SNP, Lib Dems, they're all pretty much the same. So realistically, when he says he's left this party, he's only going to go and join another fucking party that are the same undemocratic shitweasels that this fucker's been in all along. I just thought I'd bring you this as a quick one because we don't often get to see them attacking each other and it's always good to see the Ramonas attacking the Ramonas. But anyway, I'm going to end the video there, guys. There'll be a normal video coming out later on. I just thought I'd bring you this. Remember to like, subscribe and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I'll see you all in the next one.